Life as Medicine workshop, me as tree, we as forest. We envisioned a space for personal healing with and within the forest of trees. By inspiring with words and fire, dance and song, we created living landscapes that touched our spirit, and grandmother dollies to restore our connections, to restore our interdependence with Mother Earth and all she holds, along with our ancestors.
Life as Medicine, Restoring Ecological Independence. We are living in a very special time right now. The shifts and connections of Mother Earth and the things that she's doing allows us to learn, to grow, and to evolve. Our Mother, the Earth, holds our medicine. And it was with this very deep pleasure and great need that I gifted myself the offering of the retreat, Life is Medicine, Restoring Ecological Independence, with Chris Larsen and Fyre Graveline. The first step that I made was setting my space up at the retreat and going into the forest and finding my spot, connecting with my relations, the trees, the ash, the birch, poplars, and even the red willows in all their beauty. I knew I was where I needed to be at that time for the healing that I needed through the difficulties that are happening. So I offered my medicines and I introduced myself and stated my intention of goodwill. But I wasn't prepared for all the blessings and the healings that would happen in that space. The gathering of us as grandmothers, the women, the men, the youth, the young children, the healers, the gifted ones that we shared such a beautiful space. The whole weekend was set for healing and creating, for communicating. The most important and special gift that I received were when we were led. Each of us were led into the forest, and we connected with nature. We connected with the surface we sat on. We leaned ourselves against the trees, and that's where the magic happened for me. I connected with a grand old birch tree, and I sat with her, and I began to share. Spontaneously, I went back to a memory of when, as a young girl, and not knowing why I didn't fit anywhere. I didn't fit in my home after residential school. I didn't fit in the world that I was trying to go into to try and work. And it was a very difficult and sad space to be in, just not fitting anywhere. And that memory came up for me, so I wrote about it. And within the hour or so, our gracious facilitators led us back, and we rested, we feasted a bit, and then we went right into creating what came to us in that space. And I forgot all about my memory of walking in two worlds. It had already gone. But when I started creating, I began to create this tall being. It was so beautiful. And in that space, I understood that the grand birch had connected with my soul, because my creation ended up being a creation that had two sides to it. One side, the yarn was braided into beautiful braids, and the other side, the yarn was just flying free and all over the place. On one side, there were beautiful symbols of medicines, and on the other side were just bland, open spaces. but she was standing straight. She was standing tall. And then I understood that memory of that young girl not understanding and being sad about walking Mother Earth in two different worlds and not fitting. And through that, we were led to the talking circle. We were led to play. We created. We danced. We sang. And today I can sit and look at myself and I know that I'm walking well. I'm walking very well. I've let that part go. I've released it. And it's good that that young girl was able to carry me through to this space at 67 years old now, and I'm walking well. Thank you to Fyre and Chris for that incredible space of healing. Hi.
The day I spent with this amazing group of women was magical and uplifting. I was encouraged to walk silently through the forest, to find my feet and follow where my intuition led. I was encouraged to connect with the trees as family members, as beings who welcome company and visitors, who deserve to be asked before we interact with them. To be given time and space to connect with the land and its inhabitants is something we could all use a bit of more encouragement on. After connecting with a maple tree and sharing communal mealtime with elders and participants alike, I was encouraged to create a living landscape that told the story of the tree, the story of myself, and encouraged me to think about how the two stories could be woven together. This day of art, creativity, connection, and sharing nourished both my body and my mind.
And here's what the giant redwood had to say to me. Do not underestimate yourself, either in terms of your natural abilities or your unique personality. You have so much to offer the world that there is no need to feel inadequate or to lack self-confidence. Let me, meaning the redwood, show you the way. I am renowned for my stateliness and my awe-inspiring size. Look at this awe-inspiring size. I am majestic, and I can teach you how to attain your potential too, so that you are able to create your own power in the world and express your true self. And then I pulled Hollow. Expect magic and mystery. Expect the truth to surface out of dark and hidden places. And that's my offering to all of you tonight.
It was a magical and profound time spent with elders, seekers, and the trees, creating the living landscape pieces and the grandmother dollies. Mine is a dragonfly spirit, were highlights for this woman who has felt intimidated by anything art-related. I enjoyed diving in and trusting the process that Chris Larsen set out for us to create a living landscape. I would say that the gift of Chris's teaching is an unwavering belief she conveys. How does she do that? And that you can do what she leads you to do. Fiery Jean Graveline is a gifted facilitator and space holder, an inclusive, calm, kind, and force of nature with a mind like a sword. It was inspiring to learn from her and be a part of her collaborative deep dive into the heart of the world, the trees, the wind, the sky, and the water. Other session leaders were Louisa Lamotte and Selena Nukumi. Their graciousness and generosity are well remembered and were deeply felt. People were encouraged to write or do poetic inquiry. My experience with Me as Tree, We as Forest spiritual retreat brought such joy, magic, freedom. Perhaps it was the spaciousness and familiar setting of the trees, an inner creative pathway open for me here that I trust will always be with me now. We were called by grandmother Fyre to connect with the forest for insights we might receive. The first tree spirit I connected with was the maple. It would be the trees as a species that came forward, asking of us something we were to do for them, which was once had been done by our ancestors. Other messages came that day. This was the most profound for me. We spent time around the sacred fire and slept under the stars and the moon on beloved Mother Earth. We were invited to walk soft-footed through the trees, and we spoke to them and were spoken to. I sat on the forest floor for an hour for the first time in years. Healing happened for me, and I have some clarity about my next steps in life.